Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and welcome back to my channel. This is legitimately about the seventh time I've tried to record this video. It's just not going well. So wish me luck this time. Today I do have a tag for you and it is Tag Tuesday and it is the end of the year book tag. I've been seeing this floating around on BookTube. I really hadn't planned on doing a tag today, but I saw this one and really wanted to kind of just come out and have a chatty update on what I have left to read this year. I'm getting so close to my 1,001 book countdown goals, so close to my to the 100th book off of the countdown. It's a lot. A lot of things that could happen in about the next month or so. So I want to just come out and have a fun, chatty update. The original tag for this was actually created by Ariel Bissett. And so I'm excited to pick it up. I know it's been making the rounds out there with only 2.5 months left. Let's see. What do I have left to read this year? Okay, so the first question is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? So I have 11 books that are on the 1,001 book countdown for my 2022 goals. And I have one I am this close to finishing, which is great. And then I have others that I'm starting today. I feel pretty good about the 11 that are left. And so I'm not going to go through what those are. I do have a video talking about everything I have left this year off of the 1,001 countdown, which at the point, I think I had 20 something books left, but I'll certainly leave that linked here for you so you can go and watch it if you would like to see what maybe you missed or what I haven't read yet. But the book I have that I'm concerned about is this one, this very nondescript looking book. This is Tirant Lo Blanc. It was published in 1468 and has the lowest rating of what I have left to read. So it's one of the oldest and the least well-received books. I had planned to read about 30 pages a day in October. It is the 17th when I'm recording this, and I am currently on page 13. So I have not made it very far in this one at all, but this is the one that I'm concerned about. Out of all of the 11 I have left, this one I'm worried about. So yeah. Yikes. The rest of the books I have, I'm not too concerned. I'm fairly certain I'll be able to make it through those. But that one, that could be my downfall. We'll see. All right. The second question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? I don't read seasonally. So I don't read like spooky books or Christmas books or around Christmas time. I might read a Christmas book, not at Christmas time, because, I'm strange like that. But I do kind of think Victober helps me kind of get into that fall mood, that autumnal mood. And last year I had read Dickens' The Bleak House, Dickens' Bleak House, which very much had a fall vibe to it because it had smoke and smog and fog, and not smog, but it had fog, and it just made me really feel like fall. So this year, the two that I have left for Victober are A Tale of Two Cities, again by Charles Dickens, and The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. I feel like both of these kind of have a fall-ish vibe. This one has this knitting kind of on the front of it, which I always associate with warmer or colder weather as well. But these are the two that I'm kind of thinking are my fall type of vibe. So we'll see. All right. The next question is there a new release you're still waiting for? No, I don't tend to follow new releases. I have so many books on the 1,001 book list that I need to read that I just don't go and search out new releases very often. And so I don't have any that are planned. So if something comes up and something strikes my fancy, I certainly have no problem buying it. But I don't have any set plans as of right now. Next prompt is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? All right, so these ones are the winner of the voting from my Barnes & Noble Discover Prize video. And thank you to everyone who voted in that. I really appreciate it. This book actually also won the prize that was announced last week by Barnes & Noble, and it is The Rabbit Hutch by Tess Gunty. I'm so thankful that I'm reading this. I'm going to read it also with a couple of friends at work, which I'm very thrilled about because it's been a while since we've done a read there. But I'm so excited to pick this one up. But yeah, this is one. The second one is the book that came in second on the voting. And so thank you to, again, everyone who voted. And that is How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. Hopefully you can pick this one up. It's, has a plague in it. So we'll see how I do. I have to be in the mood for that particular one. But this is the one that came in second. And then the last book that I would like to be able to read, which might be able to fit into a challenge word for Nonfiction November. If you're not familiar with Nonfiction November, it's an event hosted by Olive over at A Book Olive, and she creates 4 challenge words. And I'm still determining my final TBR for that, but one of the prompts is record. And I have this one, which is The Boys in the Boat, 9 Americans and their epic quest for gold at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. I just got this one. I'd seen this one floating around. I've been interested in it for quite a while. I think you could also use this for the prompt element and maybe for border. I'm not sure, but definitely for record. It feels like record is appropriate for the 1936 Berlin Olympics. So Boys in the Boat. All right. Is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite of the year? So I don't know how much of a shock it would be, but I have 2 books left on the 1001 Book Club, which I host over on Discord. And the first one is for November, which is H is for Hawk by Helen MacDonald. This particular one is one of the very few nonfiction books on the 1001 list. And so this one I'm using for the prompt border, and it's because the book has a border on it. It's a little bit of a unique interpretation of the challenge words, but yeah, H is for Hawk is my November book club pick. I'd love to have you join us if you would like to come out to Discord. I think it really could have potential to be one of my favorite books of the year. We'll see. And then the last one is a classic. It's a Russian classic. It's the first time I will be reading this particular author, and it is The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. I have heard a lot of people read or love this book. I'm nervous about this one. It's a chunky piece of Russian literature. It's one of my last books I'll have in December, but it has some potential for being a favorite. So we'll see. We'll see how this one goes. But this is my book club pick for December. We'd love to have you join in the read on this one as well. All right, the last prompt. Have you already started making reading plans for 2023? Yeah. I mean, how can I not have reading plans? I get in this mode about this time of year of trying to figure out what I want to read next year off of the 1001 book list. And it kind of consumes me because I love making lists, and I have to start making the list. So I did start that. I do have a Goodreads shelf out there that is labeled 2023 with some initial ideas and candidates. As always, what I usually start with is the books that I actually own, that I've acquired over the last year or so, and that I haven't read yet. I would like to focus on those. But then what invariably happens is I get obsessed and I start looking and trying to decide what I want to read next year, what I want to pull together. I love almost pulling together the list more than reading the books on the list. And so, of course, what happened was I went book shopping. I ended up in a half-price bookstore. It's like my car just had to drive there. And then I ordered a few things off of Thrift Books. I do have a list of books that I'm planning on getting from the library. So the books I bought from Thrift Books, I legitimately could not get at the library, but I have a list of a number of other ones that I could. So what did I end up buying? I mean, it's fine. It's just this stack of books that I got. I mean, like I said, I couldn't, which way does this go? Am I holding it in the wrong hand? I'm holding it in the wrong hand. Yeah, so I ended up buying this stack of books and added it to my 2023 list of reads, which I have, you can't see over here now because I've moved them onto a shelf over here, and I am still pulling that list together. But the books that I just bought were Ethan Frome by Edith Wharton. I bought Money by Martin Amis. This is actually the first time I've seen Money in a half-price bookstore. I've been looking for a while to find a book of his, and this one just happened to be there. And then I wanted to read The Drunkard by Zola next year. I can't find it here. I wish I would have thought about it when I was in France, and I didn't. So I'm going to read Nana by Zola. It'll be my first Zola, and hopefully I'll be able to find The Drunkard by the time I'm able and ready to read it. And I have a short book of The Awakening by Kate Chopin? Very short. There are a number of shorter books next year because I'm trying to learn my lesson of not overstacking it with too many massive books. And then from Thrift Books, I have The Body Artist by Don DeLilio. I have read one other book of his which wasn't my favorite book, but this one is very, very short. And then I have my first Italo Calvino, which is The Castle of Cross Destinies. This one has like 200 pages in it, but it is, widely spaced. So it feels like it's not as big, but this will be my first Calvino. And then because I screwed up on Virginia Woolf on that book of A Room of One's Own, I went and got one that was on the countdown, which is To the Lighthouse. It's also not super big. I did toy with picking up another version of Mrs. Dalloway, and I put it back because I just thought, why am I torturing myself with that book when I know I don't like it? So we have To the Lighthouse, and then the last book that I got is Borges, which is Ficciones. So I've not read any Borges yet, but it is also fairly small. Doesn't mean it's going to be an easy read, but I did want to pick up one by this author as well. What I'm trying to do for the list for next year is look at authors who have multiple books on the list and try and get one off of every author. So I will have a Dickens in there. I will have some other some other authors in there for next year. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm bouncing around back and forth, but the ones I own are definitely on the priority for being there. And then I have to select if I want to do my book club next year, which books I want to select for that. It's a whole thing. I don't have any buddy reads scheduled yet. The only other thing I'm planning on doing next year that I know right now is I do want to judge the BookTube prize again, at least in the first couple of rounds, because I really loved doing that last year, and it led me to some great books. And so I'm really wanting to do that again. So that's it. Just those few things that I have left this year. And that is the end of the tag. So tell me in the comments what you have left to read. Are you going to join the book club, H is for Hawk or the Brothers Karamazov? Would love to have you. I can't wait to read those two. Like I said, I think they might have some potential of being in the top. Do you have plans for 2023? I'm curious. What did you think of any of the ones that I bought? Have you read any of these? Am I in for trouble even though they're short? Curious about that too with some of these. And that is really it. So as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks. Bye.